Do you have any rough pecking order in mind? Because I'm going for Ferrari ahead. This is my heart talking, not my
Okay.
mind. And I've got to let my heart speak this year. And it seems like the year of letting our emotions do the talking. So Ferrari has to be the one up top for me. I think McLaren next, followed by Red Bull and Mercedes. I'm going constructors, but I still feel in the drivers, it's going to be Max. That's just how
hmm
good he is. But is there any sort of rough estimation that you've come up with based on testing? Which might be naive, but still, it's fun to give it a shot.
Yeah. I mean, I've never been a great one for predictions, because it's just so much we don't know. I think this year, I probably think very similar to you. I mean, I think McLaren are going to be that kind of straight line across the season. If they're not winning, they're podiuming, and it'd be one or the other of the drivers. So I think that they are really well lined up for the constructors. If things go right for them and doesn't go right for their competitors, then there's a drivers' championship in there, and I think logically you would say Lando. But equally, I wouldn't be surprised if it was Oscar. He just seems to want it in a way that we haven't seen Lando deliver. I think Ferrari are going to be the wiggly line, and as would Red Bull, and I think they'll probably be going up and down at different points. I think the question will be, I think Ferrari are going to be, again, maybe a slightly more consistent line. I think Red Bull are going to be very much more big up and downs. And I think, if Max isn't winning, then I think Max is probably off the podium. Whereas I think Ferrari,
Ooh.
if they're not winning, probably would stay on the podium. I just don't know if the car is going to be, consistent enough. Mercedes is a really dark question. I think them, again, they could have those weekends when, as we saw with George last year a few times, just absolutely blitzes it. The car works. No one knows why. It just is really fast. And yeah, they'll be the kind of the really spiky one. And, I don't think the midfield is too tight to mention, as we've spoken. I mean, I think it will be Sauber at the back of the pack. The team that I find hardest to place is, the Racing Bulls. I just every year I just never know where they're going to be. I think this year, they showed. I think Yuki showed quite a lot of maturity last year. Maybe not as much as a lot of other drivers, but he certainly has matured. That second seat, not quite sure how that's going to shake out. They're the team that I really can't predict, but could be again one of those teams that gets that sudden high rather than consistent performances. But I think the midfield really is utterly unpredictable. And we could almost have two showings of the Grand Prix, one for the top four teams and one for everybody else. And I think both would be absolutely fascinating races. If you could somehow Photoshop one half of the grid out from the races, I reckon you can make twice as much money showing each Grand Prix in two pieces.
It'll be madness. I think we're in for a good year. And it's great, as always, great to have this post-testing review every single time. It's so good to see. Because then we can go back in the mid-season, analyze what we thought of,
Yes.
and see if we actually made any sense, which will be so much fun. And that is something we should do around the summer break by the time we see the technical
Yes.
developments coming to an end.